Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you joining me today. Today is Sunday and we're going to be starting a new reading vlog. We're going to be reading the Knockemout series, which I'm really excited to read. I just love reading books with you guys. Like, I just get excited. I say that all the time, but I'm excited because we just get to read a new book together. We kind of go through the emotions of this book, and it's quite nice to chat with you guys about the books I'm reading. I am on a mission to reduce my TBR. I do a lot of rereads. You guys know I reread all my favorite books, but I do have a lot of books I really want to read. And now that I've joined like this booktube world, I'm just adding more and more books to my TBR every single time. So I need to kind of find a plan to kind of clear these things out. I do have the physical copy of the first book in the series. So this series is a 3-book series and each book is a standalone, but they're all interconnected. I think they all happen in the same town, and I have the last 2 books on my e-reader, so I've got them ready to go. I feel like this book is going to be a nice, another guilty pleasure read. I know the series is meant to be really spicy, so I'm really looking forward to that. I don't think I've ever read a book by Lucy Score before, but I feel like this is her most popular series, or the only one I see. So when I was researching her earlier, she does have a lot of books. She does write a lot of like small town cowboy romance, but these ones are the ones that, like, you know, that were viral and really popular. And I have a feeling it's because of the covers. The covers are really pretty. I love the pastel blue, pastel like pink, and pastel like purple lilac-y vibe. So the covers are inviting. It's a new day now and I'm almost finished with Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. I'm still reading this. I literally just got to the epilogue, but I just realized I haven't checked in this entire time I've been reading this book, which is so unusual for me. Like, I always check in. So let me just give you guys a brief little intro, like my first thoughts. I've literally finished it. So this book follows Naomi and Knots. It's set in Knockemout. I can't pronounce that book. It sounds like Knock Them Out, but it's Knockemout town anyway. So this book starts off with her arriving in this small town because she got like a call from my sister that she needs the help, identical twin sister. So she enters this town, like, you know, I think she's wearing like a wedding dress. She's still got her flowers in her hair, and then the first person she had like not a contact with, the first person that she kind of clashed with was Not, because her sister is known in that small town for being like a troublemaker. Obviously no one knew that she was a twin, so everyone took her as Tina. She's an identical sister, so everyone thought she was Tina, and people were not nice to her. She's a good twin and she's the bad twin. So the trouble she came to save her sister for wasn't really trouble, but it turns out that her sister just wanted to rob her. So her sister like robbed her car, stole her money, and then left her with her 11-year-old niece. So now Naomi is like broke, no money, and has a child like to take care of, but Not stepped up for them. This book is very like grumpy sunshine because Not is very grumpy and Naomi is very much a sunshine. She's like really nice and all that kind of thing. And as I said, she ran away from her wedding, so she kind of needed a place to stay in a way, because I feel like her sister really saved her from marrying some guy that she shouldn't really be marrying. I really enjoyed this book because there is a lot of secondary characters, because it's set in a small town. You get to meet a lot of the townspeople. This book, it is quite long. It's about 500 pages, and I'm hoping that this book is really long and the other 2 books in the series are not as long as this, because this book is setting us up for the series. Like, there was a lot of introduction to secondary characters, which I'm sure we're going to see in the other books as well, and the characters that are going to make up the next 2 books. I feel like they needed to set the scene, set the town, describe different things, different businesses and different people, which is why this book is so long. But even though it was long, it was quite easy to read. I kind of breezed through this really quickly. Yes, really enjoying the story. It's really funny because when I first started this, I did not know that Knot was 40. Knot is 40 and Naomi is 36 apparently, according to this, which I find really strange because the characters are written like, I didn't know they were that age. I thought they were going to be like younger, maybe like in their mid to late 20s. It should be of a shock for me. And yeah, I don't know if characters matches that. I don't know. It doesn't really make that much of a difference of the book, but I'm just really surprised that those are the characters' ages. So obviously Knot and Naomi had decided they find each other attractive from day one, but Knot was like, oh, I can't deal with her because I don't want to have a relationship. She looks like a girl that she wants like happy ending, and I'm not that kind of a person. So they had this like little clash of like, would they or would they not, like this flirting. Knot is an alpha male, like it's very like, you know, my woman, like kind of like, what's the word, possessive. Even though it's not with her, nobody else can have her. And we get introduced to his brother Nash, which I think the second book is about, and his best friend Lucien. I can't call him Lucy because they spell like Lucy like a girl. I got confused a few times when they kept saying Lucy. I was like, what the fuck is Lucy? Because it's spelled like Lucy as in L-U-C-Y instead of L-U-C-I, because his name is Lucien. It should be, do you know what I mean? I was a bit confused. I'm not sure why that was spelled that way. So I think third book is about Lucien. So we get introduced to those characters as well. Lucien is Knot's best friend, and Nash is his younger brother. And Nash is the chief of police. They have a little bit of a clash going on as well. So I think Naomi came out, helped them a little bit, like resolve their relationship. In terms of the romance, I love the pace of the romance. Like it wasn't, this book is quite spicy, but the spice didn't come up to like about maybe page 200. So there's a lot of character development, relationship development. It wasn't just like spice from the go. It kind of, there was a build up to the relationship, their banter, like getting to know each other and things like that. Even though Knot was very, very moody, constantly angry, but because we get the POV of Knot and Naomi, it makes things a lot easier, because even though he's moody and being like basically a caveman, we get his point of view because he can't help, like he wants to be with her but he just knows that he can't have her, that kind of. What I'm going to do now, it's now 7:30 right now. I'm going to read the last couple of pages, which are the two epilogues. I'm going to read that now, and then I will come back and give you guys my review before I get ready for work. That was so quick. I literally just finished Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. You guys know already. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Again, I went into this kind of knew this was going to be like a nice guilty pleasure like read. So I went in with that feeling and I got what I wanted from that. Small town romance kind of vibe. There are a lot of bikers in this as well, which I love. So I just finished and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give this book a 3-star because it was quite nice. The spice was about, I'll give the spice like a mid spice. I'm excited to read Nash's book and Lucien's book. I think I'm more excited to read about Lucien because Lucien gives me like this dangerous bad boy kind of vibe, and I love that. This book could be a bit like more fun. Nash is kind of a good guy, nice guy, but I think I know who his love interest is based on this book. So I know that obviously Lucien is going to be with Salone and Nash is going to be with Lena. So I kind of know who they're going to be with. So now, okay, this book has gotten me excited to read the other books. I just hope the other books are not as long as this, because again, they've already set the scene. We don't need to know more, but maybe. I think this book is perfect even if you're in a reading slump and you want something like a nice romance book to get you out of it, this book ticks the box, because you have the small town vibe, the grumpy sunshine, a little bit of fake date in the middle. If you want a bit of bad boy, crime, investigation kind of vibe, you get all that with this book. So I really enjoyed this book. It's kind of like what I was looking for in terms of romance. It didn't disappoint me, and it's got me set up and ready to read the other two books in the series. I'm excited to read those books as well. So now we're going to move on to book 2. I'm going to shower, get ready for work, and then I'll probably pick up the second book in the series, Things We Hide from the Light, and I think this is Nash and Lena's book. Yeah, so I'll start this book this evening. Guys, it's now 6:30. I just finished work. I've actually read a couple of pages already. Things We Hide in the Light. So yeah, Yeah, and I was right. This book is about Nash and Lena. Nash is Not's brother from the first book. He's the chief of police for town. Lena, I'm not sure what she does, but I have a feeling that she's a private investigator, because in the first book they asked her what she did for a living. She said insurance. Every time someone asks her a question about it, she kind of changes the conversation, and it's happened again in this book. But I'm a little bit sad, because in the first book Nash came off as this easy going nice guy. I'm just in chapter 2 now, and it sounds like he's depressed. Like, so basically in the first book he got shot and he survived that gunshot, so now it's just a couple of months after that, but now I think it's like really depressed and dead inside, and it doesn't really care about things as much. So I'm be like, oh, I hope it picks up a little bit, because I don't want to read about a depressed man. It sounds horrible. I sound like a horrible person, but do you know what I mean? I don't want to start off a book chapter 1, oh my god, I'm depressed. I'm not in the mood for that. So I hope this picks up. And then already chapter 2, we already been introduced to Not and Naomi and Wale. They already like came to visit her. So I'm like, oh, we're going to see a lot more of those characters in this book, which I like. I'm going to read for about an hour and a half, and then I'll have dinner, and then I will just chill.
I've become obsessed again. I'm finding...
This is Wale is so funny. She's so cute and adorable. Like, I just like her. She's actually already she's making up the book for me. She's making me laugh.
I really thought I'd move on from these things.
She's so cute. I can't deal. This girl's carrying the book. I was way late. A 12-year-old girl carrying the book already. I'm telling you, Nash and Lena need to step up. They need to step up, because this girl's carrying the book. Oh yeah, I forgot to update my Goodreads earlier. I need to update my Goodreads. I need to know I'm reading, you know? I need to let the people know. I need to update my Goodreads, so updated. Let me give you guys my update on my reading challenge. So basically, when I started the year, I set my reading challenge for this year was going to be 100 books, and a couple of months ago I increased that to 120 books. So right now I'm on 88 books. I'm 15 books ahead. Are we done? Soon enough. See, she's a private investigator. She's investigating Duncan Hugo, who is the villain that got away in the first book. It's like a criminal. I wonder what she's working for, because if she's a private investigator, she must be working for someone. Someone must have hired her.
I went to bed that night thinking you were thinking about it too. Oh, and I crashed into you.
I think I've just produced something. Oh dear. Oh crap. Oh, I think I just produced what happened.
The first time you...
I just finished Things We Hide from the Light, which is the second book in the Knockemout series. I just finished that book now, and guys, I thoroughly enjoyed that book. Guys, so like, so far this series is giving me what I need, like that small town cozy feel. I'm getting it with these books. Like, the romance is just so cute and adorable. Like, I'm enjoying the series, and I'm so excited to start the third book, which I'm probably going to start in a couple of, like, after I've had my coffee. But yeah, so I'm really happy about this series, and I'm so happy I chose this book. Again, I think this is pleasure, like romance books that just gives you what you need. Like, you know, you get what you like, what you see is what you get kind of romance book. There's no frills. It's really nice, and you get a little bit of action, which I love, because I just love the vibe that it's a romance book. There's a little bit of action, like the men are alpha male, they protect their women, that kind of vibe. I really enjoy this with this book. And again, I feel like I thought this book was going to be spicy. It is spicy, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was going to be like pure smooth, but it isn't. It's actually like, there is a lot of build up with the characters, a lot of like relationship development, character development before we get to the spice, which is always like towards like more than halfway point of the book. So it's so good for that. So I just finished Nash and Lena book, and again, I really enjoyed this book. I just rated it 3.75 because I loved it. The story was nice. It started off kind of slow because it picked up where the first book ended, where Nash is just recovering from his gunshot, and was depressed, and I was a bit like, oh, I don't want to read about like a depressed man, but it was done tastefully. Like obviously the reason for his depression was explained. Lena moved in next door to him, and they kind of started that, like, we're just there for each other. Going through that near-death experience kind of shook him up, and she was just the perfect person that was there for him. And there was a dog, you guys, oh my god, rescued a dog, which was quite cute, and kind of bonded over that. Like, it's just cute. As I said, this romance book is like small town cozy vibe, and I think the book was set in autumn because it really had an Halloween party. Was it an Halloween party? Like, it was kind of like autumny, so it's like, when I'm reading in August, it's the perfect little taster into what fall has to give. So I'm really enjoying this book, and I love the fact that the secondary characters were so present in this book, which makes sense because now from the first book, and Nash are brothers, and they both live in the same town. Lena and Naomi from the first book are friends as well, so it's quite nice that all the characters I loved in the first book still made appearances in this book. And basically the thrill and the action from the first book that was not like concluded picked up in this book as well, and we had a little bit of a conclusion. And I cannot wait for the third book, which is about Lucien and Salone. Lucien is Nash and Not's best friend. Lucien is like a fixer, you know, it's kind of like badass, like, I don't know his job, so it's like security expert or something like that. And he and Salone, I think their relationship is a second chance relationship, because it seems that they had a thing when they were younger, and something was happening between that kind of drifted apart, and they can't stand each other. They can barely stand each other, but you know it's because they still love each other. It's quite cute. So I'm really excited to read their book as well, so we kind of get a glimpse of them too in all the other books. So these books, even though they are standalone, they are very interconnected. I would say you should read it in the order it was published, because I think if you read this book like in the wrong order, you kind of miss the entire, like, the full picture of the book. You guys can tell I really enjoyed this book. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to say. What else? Oh, what else did I love in this book? The names was funny, because Nash full name is Nashville, and Not's full name is Nottville. I thought it was funny, and I actually laughed. This book made me laugh because Lena is so funny. There's a scene where towards the end where the action part was like coming to an end. So she is an investigator. She's like a bounty hunter for like an insurance company. So basically what she does is I think she used to be like an actual bounty hunter before, like hunting like bonds, like people that have skipped off bonds. But now what she does is, like, every time she works for an insurance company and it's something stolen, she kind of recovers the stolen item. So the reason why she's in that town is because someone stole an expensive car that she's trying to recover. So she's kind of investigating that. But she's kind of an action, like, badass girl as well, which I love. Anyway, this scene towards the end where she kind of is like kidnapped and she's kind of had a rescue free, the banter between Dunton, if you read the book you know what I mean, Dunton, so one of the bad guys, the banter was so funny. There was this scene, it was like, I think it said something like, I am not to be trifled with, and the guy was like, it's trifle, you dumbass. Like that, they all banter between them. I just find it that thing funny. Like, it's so funny. It's like a romantic action book kind of thing, like that. So yeah, so I didn't expect it to be as funny as I thought. Even the first book was funny as well. Like, I just love the chemistry between the characters, and like even Waylay, she's in this book as well, and she's still the most adorable person ever. She's so cute, she's so funny. I come back and she's so clever. Even Lena's parents as well, they're cute. I just enjoyed it. One thing I was gonna say again, that this book is quite long. So the first book, this was almost 500 pages. No, well, including the epilogue, it was 500 pages. With there's an epilogue and there's a bonus epilogue, 500 pages altogether. The second book was about 589 pages, and then it had an epilogue and a bonus epilogue as well. And you guys know I am not going to complain about an epilogue. I love a nice happy ending. That's one of my favorite things about books, epilogues, because when you read a romance book, you get like the honeymoon stage of the relationship. The epilogue just makes me know that they actually made it to the long run. So I love an epilogue and a bonus epilogue as well. Like, I just love it. So me, I'm an epilogue girly, so this book is delivering on that front for me as well. It's just quite nice to kind of have a nice closure. Yes, so we are starting with the last book in the series, Things We Left Behind. Let's see, 489 pages. So this book is RFT. There are a lot of pages, and the thing is, I thought, like, for me, I was like, a romance book, like, there should be like 400 pages max. The action part of this book, like, because they're solving a crime and they're trying to find the bad guy, and they're looking at like like investigating this kind of thing kind of keeps you on your toes. In the second book, I kind of guessed who the shooter was, so I wasn't shocked about that, but it was just nice to get that confirmed. So I think that process of investigation kept me engaged in the book, and I just felt like it didn't drag on for me, so it was quite a nice read. I'm hoping to read this today. What's today? Today is Thursday the 15th. Today's Thursday the 15th of August, and right now it's 8:30. Yeah, just before 8:30 in the morning. I need to make my coffee. I probably won't start this book now till lunch, and then I'll read for the rest of the evening. 500 pages, I can't finish it today. I don't want to try and make a massive dent in this book. Like, I have no plans in evenings. I'm just going to like buckle down and like binge this book and finish it by tomorrow morning, because I am going to start a 24-hour reading challenge for you guys this weekend, which I don't know how I'm going to film that, because Fridays I finish at 3 o'clock, so we still have some more hours, so I'll probably start reading at 3 o'clock, and then I'm going to my friend's house in the evening and I'm staying over, and then I'm there the entire day on Saturday, and I come back on Saturday evening. So I'll probably like then read like another big chunk on Saturday evening, and then Sunday I'll just bang out like, I don't know how many hours. I'm gonna try and do that. So I don't know, I'm gonna squeeze in 24-hour challenge, but I really want to do one for you guys. Hi guys, so I just finished work for today. It's gonna be one of those days where everything's just a mess. Anyway, I started reading. I read a little bit of Things We Left Behind at lunchtime, and then I've read for a couple of more hours just now. So this book follows Lucian and Sloane, and I guess it was like enemies to lovers, second chance romance. They had a relationship when they were younger, and then something happened between them, and now they can't stand each other. With enemies to lovers, it can go both ways. Like, I love them or I hate them, depending on how the author writes it. I don't like enemies to lovers when it's just like they are enemies for the pettiest reasons, or they're so immature. Like all the book is just of them like shouting at each other, like just not like having this weird like back and forth where it's just so annoying and repetitive. I don't like that. Like, enemies to lovers, tell us why they were enemies to lovers. If they can't resolve it, even if they have like a back and forth, maybe like a couple of chapters that they're having back and forth, and then something happens, they resolve it and they get together. That's why I like it. I don't like it when it drags on too much, so I haven't finished my drag on for a little bit. Anyway, so I have read quite a lot of the books, guys. I am literally now on like 50% halfway through the book, and they are still going at it, guys, and it's just this back and forth. And the other two books had a lot more action. I think I mentioned to you guys there was action going on as a subplot, so that kind of kept me entertained. This one doesn't. So basically it starts off with Salone's dad is dead. That's how the book started. Lucian is the family friend, so they were the next door neighbors growing up. So Salone's parents really helped him because his dad was abusive to his mom. They kind of helped him. That's kind of what I'm gathering, and that's what's happening. But now it's like he's done so well for himself. Like, it's like really kind of cold, but very well. He's put all this energy into like being really well. But they've just been going at each other's throats, like literally back and forth. Like, you can tell the tension between them. Like, they don't like each other, but like at one point, just like 50% of the book, and they're still like back and forth. It's a bit like, oh my god, like just grow up a little bit. And the fact that this man is 40 years old and she's probably like in mid to late 30s, I'm like, oh, come on. So that is really annoying me. The thing is, I hope I'm sticking to it because I really like the first two books, and I'm hoping that when they finally get together, that reward would be a massive payoff. So this doesn't have as much action, but I feel like there might be a little bit of action because the main villain for the first two books, like the main guy that hasn't made an appearance yet, but his name keeps going on and on, is in this book, and I feel like he has a clash with Lucian, so maybe towards the end all the action is going to pick up. Salone's dad sounds like a really nice man. He was like a lawyer. Right now, one of his protege, his mom, is in jail for some kind of injustice anyway. So I think Salone she and the girls, so Naomi from the first book and Lena from the second book, are formed like legal aid kind of thing. I feel like something there because now she's getting like threats, which I think the threats are from the case she's working on, so the action's going to pick up. This book is almost 500 pages, and I'm now on page 308. So the back and forth with Salone and Lucian went on for like 200 pages, and then it got to 200 pages. Now they're doing like friends with benefits. So now I know why like what happened, like basically what happened between them, like what the issue was. So they didn't even really have a relationship when they were younger. They just had like they like each other. So he was like the cool kid, like the popular guy, and she was like the nerd, and they never like hung out in school, but after school they kind of had this weird friendship. They fancied each other, and obviously she was aware of how his dad was. I don't know what she did was, okay, it was whatever. She saved him. I'm being honest, she kind of saved him. He could have died. But I don't know why he just can't grow up and get over it. It's more like they can't forgive each other. I don't know why. Because he can't trust her. Like, one thing about this book is that there's always a third act breakup. With this book, it was in the first book as well. I think the second book there was a little bit like third act breakup kind of thing, but it lasted like less than 12 hours. I feel like that would happen here because at the moment they're having a sexual relationship with no string attached. Like we're just doing this for now until we get each other out of our system kind of vibe. But you know how this is gonna end up.
Tell them it was all my fault. I fled the scene when you stole my heart.
Oh my god. So basically, Salon has a cat, and she's, as I said, she's getting dressed, and she just came in and there's like a dead animal. I thought it was a cat that died, like was found. I was like, oh my god, that would be awful, but it wasn't.
And I crashed into you.
I just finished Things We Left Behind, and you guys, the epilogue saved it. I was right. Towards the end, the action did pick up, and all the issues from the first book has been resolved now. The ultimate bad guy has been like taken over, so it's quite nice. There was the action I wanted as well at the end. The epilogue, guys, you guys know, happy ending girl here, so I always have an epilogue. There was an epilogue and there was a bonus epilogue which shows like a couple of decades later, and you can get update from all the couples, all the secondary characters and things like that. So it was really nice. I thought this book was going to be my favorite book out of the 3 books, but I do have favorite moments in this book because I like Lucien and Ceylon, and I feel like, oh, I love a second chance romance. What really like marked up this book a little bit for me is the fact that it started off really slow. Like I got really annoyed with their back and forth. It just got really irritating. Like the things I don't like about Enemies to Lovers, I got a lot of that in this book and I was not feeling it at all. But apart from that, after that whole thing was resolved and they were together, there was also a third act breakup like the other books. I was expecting that because it's kind of, I don't mind that though, actually it makes sense. And then when they go back together, it just like went really well. But even though the banter was quite annoying, like it is funny, like the banter between is really funny. Like I love the fact that she calls him Lucifer because his name is Lucien. So I thought I could guess the bad guy because she was getting threats. I thought the bad guy was Alan. If you've read the book, you know who Alan is. Alan is Mary Lewis's son. I thought that was the guy that was a bad guy, but I was wrong because I was like, there's no reason, but they obviously found out the bad guy. Everything was linked. My favorite scene in this book was when Sloane stood up for Lucien in the lift with his mom, but she was like, yeah, I think that scene was needed to kind of wake the mom up. I'm going to rate this book a 3.5 star. I think it's the lowest book I rated out of all 3 books. I think the entire series is a 4-star series, and I feel like this is the book I'll pick up if I'm in a reading slump. As I said, like it's just very nice and cozy, and also the action like kind of sold it for me as well. So I really enjoyed this entire series. And to be fair, I haven't heard anything bad about this series, and also it's very spicy. I feel like this last book is the spiciest one, and I think it's very spicy because Lucien and Sloane started their relationship as just a sexual relationship. There was a lot of like spicy scenes, so it's the spiciest one out of the entire series. It isn't my favorite. I don't know, I don't want to say it's not my favorite book because I like all of them, but I think my favorite couple is going to be Not and Naomi. My favorite couple followed like a very close second to Lucien and Ceylon, and it's because I like Lucien. Ceylon kind of annoyed me a little bit sometimes, but I like Lucien. And then obviously Nash and Lena, even though like, and this is like minor, like I love them all, but like this is, if I had to rate the book and rate, that's kind of how I rate them. But I feel like I love them all the same in a way because each book you see so much of all the characters. I feel like this book is actually like one book. Every book picks up right where the last book left up. Every single character, book secondary or small, they were all interconnected, and I just love that cozy vibe. Gave me what I needed, and I'm so happy I read this book. I've had this book. This actual book was actually gifted for me. Someone bought this for me off of my Amazon wishlist, which I'm really grateful for. So I'm just happy that I finally get to read this book. And as I said, I rated the entire series a 4-star altogether. Yeah guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoy watching me do. I love doing reading vlogs and stuff, and I think I'm going to do a lot more reading vlogs like this where I read a series. I'm sure something like a series that's like 3 to 4 books in the series. I don't mind reading that, and also I'm getting to tick off a lot of books of my TBR, which I'm not going to complain about, and I love that. So yeah, I really enjoy this series. If you have this series on your TBR, definitely read it. I feel like it's a nice book that would, as I said, I think I've said it a million times, that this is a book that will get you off reading slump, because it's just so, like, it just ticks on the boxes for me, like in terms of like tropes, like things I like anyway. Like there's action, there's mafia if you're like into that kind of thing. There's no dark romance, but like it's quite cute, and I just love it and stuff. And yeah, and any book where there is cute kids there, cute animals, and animals are basically like secondary characters, is just my vibe. This writing style and the way the story is laid out, the way these books are laid out, they remind me so much of Christian Ashley's books, because Christian Ashley's books, even though they are romance first, there's always a bit of action and suspense and things like that in those kind of books. So I feel like that's why I love this book, because it's very similar to Christian Ashley books for me. So yeah, if you made it this far to the video, thank you guys so much for sticking with me to the end. I hope you guys have enjoyed this reading vlog. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with any of my thoughts, if you've read this book, if you're going to read this book and things like that. I would love to know what your thoughts are in the comments as well. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.